Okay, let's talk about a huge shift that's happening right now and how we find, well, anything. The rules of discovery that have basically run the internet for the last 2 decades, they're breaking down. And a whole new playbook is being written as we speak. So let's get into what that really means.
It all kicks off with this one number, 60%. Now, this single figure represents a kind of quiet revolution, one that's totally flipping a habit we've all had for years and years. The big question is 60% of what?
So here it is. It's the percentage of Google searches in the US that now end without a single click. According to data Rand Fishkin cited, most people are just getting their answers right there on the results page. You know, that whole journey of click, browse, explore. Yeah, it's dying. And hey, this isn't just a Google thing. This change in behavior is spreading everywhere. A recent study actually found that more than half of us are already using tools like ChatGPT to get product recommendations, completely skipping the old-school search and brand websites.
What we're really watching here is nothing less than the end of the search era as we've always known it. The entire game has fundamentally changed.
To really get what's happening, you have to look at it as a journey through 3 big eras. We started in the mass media era, where success was all about reach. Then we moved into the digital engagement era, and we all got obsessed with funnels and clicks. But now we're entering the generative era. And the new currency isn't reach or clicks, it's influence. So what really defines this new generative era? Well, it's a world where AI models, your ChatGPTs and Geminis, they're the new gatekeepers. They are the editors, the curators, the guides, summarizing, recommending, and basically shaping all the information we see.
And look, the stakes here could not be higher. If a generative AI doesn't know about your brand, or even worse, has a bad impression of it, you just won't show up. You literally risk becoming invisible in this new ecosystem.
So this brings us to the biggest, most important question for any business or marketer out there today. How do you break through? How do you make sure your brand is being taught to the AI and not just forgotten by it? The answer lies in a whole new discipline with a completely new set of rules. It's called GOO, which stands for Generative Engine Optimization. You can kind of think of GEO as the successor to SEO. It's not about ranking for keywords anymore. It's about making sure your brand is woven into the very fabric of AI-generated answers and recommendations in a way that's positive and, of course, accurate. And let's be really clear about this. This is not optional. In the generative era, GEO is fast becoming the one and only real path to brand discovery. Ignoring it is like ignoring the internet back in the 90s. Okay, so you're probably asking, how do you actually do it? Well, the strategy is built on a 4-pillar playbook. So here's the playbook. Pillar 1, shift your media strategy to feed the AI positive signals. 2, establish some governance to get all your teams on the same page. 3, and this is a big one, build a totally new way to measure success. And finally, number 4, foster an AI-first mindset, so this just becomes part of your company's DNA. Let's just zoom in on that 3rd pillar for a second, measurement. Because after all, if you're playing a new game, you need a new way of keeping score. This is so crucial. All of our old metrics are basically obsolete now. Clicks, impressions, reach, they're pretty much meaningless if they don't lead to a positive brand representation inside these AI systems. They just don't measure influence. So, the new framework for measurement has 3 layers. You start with efficiency, making sure your ops are running well. But the critical new layer is in the middle. Influence. That's where you measure your actual visibility inside the AI. And then finally, you connect that to impact, linking your AI influence directly to business outcomes, like sales. And right at the heart of that new influence layer are 2 key metrics you need to know. The Brand Demand Index, or BDI, which tracks how often an AI mentions your specific brand, and the Category Demand Index, or CDI, which measures how often your brand shows up when someone asks about your product category. Like, what's the best TV? Now, we have to be honest here. This is a brand new frontier. It's complex, and it's not all perfectly mapped out just yet. There are some real challenges, for sure. The measurement is still more directional than absolute. Trying to attribute sales directly to AI influence is tough. And the AI models themselves are basically black boxes that are constantly changing. Yeah, it's messy. But, and this is the most important part,
The brands that lean into this messiness are the ones that are going to win. The early movers who start testing and learning and refining their approach right now will build a powerful and lasting competitive advantage.
And the goal here is tangible. The target for early adopters is to see a 10% uplift in those key BDI and CDI metrics within the first 6 months of putting a geo strategy in place. And that 10% isn't just some vanity metric. The ultimate goal, the whole point, is to prove a direct correlation between that increase in AI influence and real measurable sales growth.
So we'll leave you with this one final thought. As generative AI becomes the new curator of our world, you really have to ask yourself, is your brand actively being taught to these new engines of discovery, or is it slowly being forgotten? The choice you make today is going to define your visibility tomorrow.